Well, hello, and welcome to tonight's episode of Ancient Relics and Talky Religions. Talky. Hello. My name is Jake, and you may know me from previous things such as jnjtabletop, or I used to be known here as Obi-Wan Jacoby, and that's probably how you found us all. So there it is. Yep. And today I'm joined by these two wonderful people. Stage right, Izzee here and Evan over there. Yes. And yes, we're going to be talking about our game Ancient Relics and Hokey Religions. So why don't we say a little quick something about each other, and Izzee, why don't you tell us about Evan? We've never done that before. That's fun. And then I don't know. Let's just. Where can you find Evan? What does he do on the show?
So, over here is Evan, also known as Evbo. You can find him at It's Evbo on most of the things, if not all of them. He does music and streaming and lots of voices when he streams video games. And
This is wonderful.
He's a pretty cool dude. If you follow him on some of the things, you might see some real great pictures of some cute animals. And he plays a monk of the open hand, and his name is Echo. And he's a really, really splendid man.
I think you have done well.
Did I forget anything? I think that was it.
That was amazing.
Evan, I think you have an easier job if you want to introduce.
Or a harder job.
It depends on how you want to go for this. Yeah.
Well, this over here to my left is Izzee. That's it. She plays Mellie on Ancient Relics and Hokey Religions, and that's I think that's all I'm allowed to say. She's super cool, and she also has wonderful pets, but you'll just have to settle for mine probably.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's awesome. So Josh and Michael couldn't make it today. I think Michael is in chat. I think he just shared some pictures of Snowflake in our pets Discord server, which is awesome. Definitely want to go check that out. And if you're watching this on Twitch, hit the follow button. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, because, I mean, we're amazing, and you should do all that, because absolutely. So right now, this is a game that's normally streamed on Rare Drop's Twitch channel, twitch.tv/raredrop. That's where you can find it. And then past episodes, normally, you can only find all of them on places like Spotify or podcast things. I'm not like a podcast person, so I don't kind of know where those things are. But if there's a podcast place, you can find it there. But we also have, I think, what Josh normally calls our mid-season finale is on YouTube. And there's a playlist on jnjtabletop there where you can check that out. So, but we're also gonna actually this Wednesday we're gonna premiere the first episode. We're gonna turn back the clock, which is gonna be fun. So yeah, definitely follow, subscribe, like, all the fun stuff. Check the doobly-doo for Discord and Twitch links, all that fun stuff. And if you're watching this and you're here live right now and you have a question that fits with the topic that we are going through with our game and recent events, throw it in chat. We're probably going to want to talk about that. And just goes without saying, there's going to be spoilers up through episode 42. So you've been warned. So I'm going to try and do a quick review. I wrote out this thing to see if I could get everybody up to speed, because stuff is going down. Things are crazy here. It's crazy. Basically, Mac, played by my cousin Michael, or Mr. Yoda, Master Yoda I am, was contacted by the Kryn Dynasty in the form of his old handler, Kaylin. I don't think anybody except for Josh knows how to correctly spell that, but Kaylin. And she tasked him with the assassination, and I'm saying it this way, is of Baraka Obamius. And he decided to share this information and rolled extremely well on all avenues that he set out in ways to kind of, I'm not going to say lie, but kind of twist and maybe a bold-faced lie or not, or two in there. But he rolled very well about keeping his motivation to keep his family safe. Was kind of, there's some murky stuff there. Vael decided to help Mac. I put that in quotes because I think a lot of people don't understand fully what Vael was doing in this task, because he did not want to see his family hurt, nor did he want Mac to be alone in this. Echo and Mellie decided to walk away, but then very much gave the cold shoulder to Vael and Mac in the process. But through dumb luck, they happened to be at the Axbringer Brewery anyways, where of course the job was going to take place, and ended up agreeing to help try to revive Obamius after Vael expressed that he's not entirely sure if Mac has been completely honest about this job, but he couldn't put his finger on it. Everything seemed to be going perfectly, almost virtually without a hitch, until Revivify did not work. And then it all unraveled from there. Vael impersonated his brother Carric, used Mellie and Echo's names in public. The group felt the need to flee the city because, without explaining any of it, everyone except for Mac, of course, seems distraught over what happened. And the cherry on top of that, in true Josh fashion, is we left off on a cliffhanger, learning that Master Denoa, Echo's teacher, master, I'm writing in maybe father figure, has been missing for 3 weeks. And Izzee, Eavn, I don't know about anybody else here, but like just on a personal level, I'm exhausted for our characters. Like, just exhausted for our characters. It's literally the same in-game day that Mellie met Raei the Everlight, which happened like multiple sessions ago. Like, a lot has happened in this last day. So we'll start with, we'll go even as Izzee, odd as Eavn. Odd as Eavn. Eavn, how are you personally just feeling about things on this level?
Oh, man. So, gosh, how am I feeling? I feel very torn in a lot of ways, as does Echo. This is like a wild series of events for them all to have been going through, and it's like you start to wonder after a while, like, how could things possibly get worse? Like, how could they escalate and get worse for these poor people? And then it's like, oh, like, here's how, in a way you couldn't have possibly thought would have been worse. It's like, oh, well, we fought this 40-foot tall, giant worm creature in a cave, and like went through a labyrinth that's designed to keep you there until you die of old age, and like all of this crazy stuff has been happening to them, and you're like, it can't get worse than this. And then it's like, oh, actually, it turns out dealing with the legal system can be a lot worse than that. So, now you're there. And that's, yeah, it sucks. And then, you finally get out, and oops. Echo goes home and finds out that, as he probably should have expected, or he might be blaming himself for a few things right now, might have been able to figure out that he was indisposed a little sooner. Who knows? So I'm feeling very yucky. I think that's probably
that's a great word.
The right adjective.
Oh my gosh. And Izzee, how about you, just as Izzee? I mean, I know we'll get into Mellie and Echo and Vael, but just how are you feeling about this?
Well, there's two sides of it. One side is that this has been very entertaining. Like, I am really enjoying, like, we just have so much inter-party conflict that it's like bubbling over, and I can't wait to see how everything unfolds. And then the other side is, I guess, just the same as what you both said. Like, I know, like, a lot has gone on, but it's like, It's like when you're at the beach and you get hit by a giant wave and it just knocks you on your butt, and then you're like, okay, I can get reoriented. But then
Yeah.
like 2 more waves come and you're just like tumbling in the foam.
Yeah, and you always feel like you should be stronger than the water, but
Mm-hmm.
you're not. It's just not the way that works. That's a great way to describe that. Okay, so you kind of mentioned the concept of I don't know how much we talked about it maybe on camera or not, but the concept of the family meeting. I feel like it's almost safe to say it feels like it's almost like looming at this point with all the little twists and turns things have happened, and this whole time up until really this last episode, Carric has been there, so like it's like you feel like you kind of can, but you kind of can't really address anything unless you kind of step aside and maybe talk about it. But I don't think Vael would be driving that meeting too much, but I suspect if anyone would be, it would be either Mellie or Echo. So Izzee, do you think that's something that Mellie would try to initiate, or why not?
I definitely think Mellie is ready to have that conversation. There's actually been a few times where she was like, maybe like I can somehow manage to like get this all out in the open, but she's ready for it, and I as a player I'm kind of hoping that we learn a little bit more about Mac in the process, because I feel like I know everybody's background is a little bit of a mystery, but I guess because of the events that are unfolding, I want to hear more about his history.
Yeah, definitely. I think Michael's been playing a lot of his cards close to his chest. I think we all have, like you said, to a degree or another. But yeah, I definitely want to learn more about Mac. Evan, do you feel like would this be something you think Echo would be kind of like on board to initiate, or like Echo's kind of, he's in a weird place I think right now.
So that is, you are right on track, which is to say that like if this hadn't happened, if things were fine, like so to speak, you know, like Dina was there and they're just like, oh yeah, no, yeah, come on, here's a room, let's talk about this all in the morning, you guys seem like you've been through a lot. That would probably be the time that Echo would probably think about, like, he's in his own home now and like, you know, in a place where he finally feels safe and can like just get this out. But right now, I don't think so. I don't think he would. I think right now his goal, like, even like you'll notice when we first got to Byseus Teal that there was not an immediate like, okay, now can we talk for a minute? It's because even at that moment, Echo's just like, I just gotta get home. Like, I gotta go home. We're here. I need to go home first, and then we can do that. And that was intentional. It would have added on a lot of time as well to the end of our night. But yeah, I don't think Echo will be the one to. I don't think he would do it. I mean, it depends on what happens. You know, if someone says something, if someone says the wrong thing, then he might get frustrated or, you know, angry enough to do that. But
I can't imagine that happening.
No. who would do such a thing?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, emotions are running high. That's easy to have happen from really anybody, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So we talked very briefly before Izzee had hopped on. So he's kind of, Echo tends to not really be someone who's going to be like driving the action like a lot. Like he's not like as like he strikes me as a lead by example kind of a person. Like his leadership qualities would be more in that lane. So like his decisiveness isn't necessarily something that I think you would be like, oh yeah, Echo's just very decisive person. I don't think that's something you would really think. But he does seem to be a little more withdrawn than I would say he has been in the past. Is that just because of like this particular episode, or is there something kind of more?
No, so Echo's timidness for the most part comes from being a halfling, and on top of that, being a halfling in, well, I can't really give anything away, but where he used to live, halfling or otherwise, he just wasn't really ever taken seriously. So he was never really given a choice in a lot of things. A lot of it was like, all right, come on, let's, we need you to go do this. And, okay. And he would just like, do it. And any time that he would try to put his 2 cents in, he just wasn't really taken seriously. And that did not help when he finally went out into the world and met a lot of the same thing, where he would try to like make decisions and try to do certain things, and people just would see a child with sideburns and not take him seriously. So a lot of it comes from that, but this group has made him feel important, and that's where like he is decisive. It's just that, like you said, I think that his preference, he won't like tell someone what to do, but he'll maybe suggest an idea or a perspective that they may not have considered, so that they might make the decision themselves. Because that's something he's but something that he developed just over time, over his life. Because it's the best way that he found that he could get through to people, and it also helped him connect with people a little more, which is good. But yeah, that's pretty much that. His issue right now, it's partially a me thing and it's partially an Echo thing, but I was noticing that this might be selfish, but it's also like a peek behind my own personal curtain, is that I noticed that I was hijacking a lot of events with Echo just because I love playing Echo so much. So I wanted to make sure that like everyone had more of a chance to shine a little more. So I made a point not to like not do anything, but certainly to like take a back seat.
Okay.
And it's also just where Echo's head is at with everything that's been going on. He's becoming less decisive because he's feeling like some of the decisions that have been made have had some pretty negative consequences.
You don't think they've worked out?
He's definitely becoming a little more afraid to say anything, but it's also partially my own, decision.
I think a good question's coming up from Michael's very soon that we'll get to. But Evan, I also shared with you before that I have felt similar ways in feeling like I can hijack action. So I never did it, but I've been thinking about putting a little sticky note like on my monitor, like let other people talk, or like, do this, that kind of a thing. But I think there's also different personalities in the group, and I think that that's kind of also shown in there. But yeah, I'm curious about how Izzee feels about our shared insecurity there, if she's felt pushed aside or anything like that.
Actually, I worry about the same thing.
I knew that would be your answer, which is just so funny to me.
So maybe it's just that we all worry about that same thing, so we have a really good balance.
Yeah. And Michael's in chat, so if you want to go ahead and answer for you.
I mean, so far it looks like if we all feel the same way, then I guess that means we're better balanced than we think we are. And everyone's playing to their characters' personalities as best as possible. Like, I don't think that you take up too much time, especially because you do roleplay exceedingly well. I mean, our whole group does. I'm talking to you, Jake, by the way. But I'm just saying our whole group.
Okay.
Our whole group roleplays exceedingly well. But I think that you really like, especially because you have such a wide knowledge of rules and kind of how the way the game works in general, that you have an interesting way of driving things, and like you never waste a conversation. Like there's always a reason for Vael to be having a conversation. I always thought that was interesting. Like I feel good when I do that, like, once every 8 sessions. I'm like, haha, that actually meant 2 things. And you're like, like it's like every conversation that you've had, it's like, oh yeah, well actually it was because of this and this and this. I don't want to like share any specific examples, but sometimes we'll have our chats throughout the week,
I love
talk
this.
about some things, and it's fun to see those perspectives. I'm like, dang, I really wish I could do that all the time. But
Oh,
yeah, that's all I'm saying, is that Vael is more like curious and outgoing, and he wants to always get more information. So, and he is a smuggler, so it makes, I think, a lot of sense for him to want to, be so outgoing.
yeah. Well, thank you very much for the kind words. I definitely try to get in his mind, which right now it's really heavy, so that's not always an easy place to live. But Michael, in response to this, he says he does not worry about it because I feel like we all let each other shine in different moments. Certain people are going to be in the forefront, and I think that's very well said. And I think, Josh also says in chat, which, hi Josh, you guys keep stealing the show from Michael and I. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I thought he was being nice, but he was being fun. But yeah, there really were a whole bunch of things, and it's been very, very nice to see this group grow together as role players and into their characters as well. But yeah, we've got a few fun questions in chat. So Michael earlier asked, if neither of you can answer this, he understands, but do either Echo or Mellie regret the fact that they walked away during the planning of the assassination? I think, yeah, whoever...
And do you want to go first? Or okay. All right, I'll go. No. I think no. The only regret she has is that they stayed.
Stayed? What do you mean by stayed?
At the bar.
Okay.
We should have left. We were like, we're not going to be involved. Let's just leave. And then we were like, you know what? We'll stay. Not a good idea.
My goodness, I'm gonna... Yes, I think in character they probably don't, but I think... Or Josh just wrote in chat, my opinion is they probably haven't even thought of that. There's a lot of quick things have happened, but interesting to get to that point, because I really do think this this family meeting is going to take some twists and turns that I suspect are going to be unexpected. Expect the unexpected for this this meeting. I think it's going to be very interesting. Evan, what do you think about, from your perspective and or Echo's perspective?
Okay, I have to say that the Echo and Mellie like sub arc of this chapter has been so awesome, and I really want to see their relationship fleshed out more, because they were on precisely the same page. Echo does not regret walking away. He does regret that they stayed. He really, really in his heart wishes that he hadn't stayed. Because I guess I could share this. We're doing this. What's the point of the podcast if I don't? But Echo absolutely blames himself right now for the revival not working, because he doesn't really know how magic works. Like, he doesn't. He thinks that he did it wrong, and there wasn't enough time for Mellie to make it to do it herself. So in his head, if she was there, it would have been fine. Everything would have gone to plan. We could have left safe. So he feels pretty guilty about it. And he also feels, I mean, this part was laid out pretty bare, but he also is angry that he allowed the ring to be given to him, that choice was made. Because he because of that, now this happened, and now he's got like blood. He had blood all over his hands because of what happened. Even if that's not really the case, and who knows if or how that'll come up, and more information will be given. But yeah, his only regret right now is that they stayed and helped.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty heavy stuff, but how many times in life do you blame yourself for things that really, there's not
me?
much you can...
Literally, I never don't
That's
do
what I
that.
mean. Like, it's just that's such a, I know he's a halfling, but that's such a human part of his character. So Josh had a question for me, actually, which I wrote down. I said, did you, as Jake, have any thoughts as to the possible negative outcomes or risks of disguising yourself as Carric? As Jake, 100% I did. 100%. I was like, man, if this doesn't go well, this could really suck. But it was just such a Vael decision that I couldn't not do that. I think I kept using the phrase, pardon me, whether it was to Evan or to the group, like, Vael is I'm going to have my cake and eat it too kind of a guy. And in his mind, he's like, okay, Mac needs to kill this person to save his family. We have a way to fix death. So if we just do this, then it's going to be weird. And how can I get them out of anything like this? Okay, I'll just be Carric, and that'll, like, he was just thinking, I'll just do that and it'll work. There's what could possibly go wrong. That was the Vael mindset. And yeah, the way it all turned out, like, everything went exactly the way he foresaw it happening, as far as like the timing, once he saw that Mellie and Echo were in the bar. But the dagger was the variable he couldn't account for, and that was it was just such a Vael thing to have happen to him. But yes, as Jake, yeah, I would never have done that if I was Vael. But that's a weird thing to say, because I kind of am. But yeah. So let's see, do we have another question in chat? Or Izzee or Evan, if you have anything you'd want to ask, please feel free. And Josh, that's a good point you brought up. It's a valuable lesson to learn that death is not always as easy to reverse as you think. Uncertainty always exists. It's true. That is true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a very good point, and it's an interesting lesson for Vael as well. I think, like, sometimes having your cake and eating it too, like, it just can't happen. Like,
yeah,
yeah. It's interesting how that plays into, like, using Carric's, like, he used Carric's identity in order for, like, this thing to go the way that he was thinking it would. And because Revivify didn't work, now that puts Carric in a pretty dangerous place. Not necessarily dangerous, but certainly a situation he doesn't want to be in.
He's gonna have to figure that one out. Yeah.
So interesting.
I often don't agree with Mac, but I think Michael's Among Us skills were on complete display when he was like, he'll be fine. There's so many people that must have seen it. Don't worry about him. He'll be fine. He might have some sus, but it'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Josh just put a good question in chat. He said, what do each of you think is going to happen with Carric? I think there'll be definitely an investigation of some kind. I don't think he'll have many consequences personally, but I think his name is got to be going to be dragged through the mud a bit. I don't know if you guys agree with me.
I think it depends on how he takes it, because I think it'll be clear what happened to him, at least, and I think that, yeah, there will be an investigation. I think that he could get, he may be held for a while. If it becomes clear, like, his family is going to get tied up for a little bit. His parents probably are going to be tied up in this in some way just because of the relation. And, maybe a demotion. Like, it's kind of hard to say. If they figure out what happened, it could be pretty bad for him.
How about you, Izzee?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but and obviously, like, I agree with what both of you said. Like, there's definitely probably going to be investigations, and it's probably going to tarnish his name and his reputation, and it's I don't know, I'm kind of worried about how it's going to impact him as a person, like as a character, because he really cares about what he does. He cares about his role. He has like a really good working relationship with the queen. So it's going to be really weird to see what ends up happening and becoming of the investigation. And who knows, what's actually going to come of it if, I mean, people saw him, but who's to say it wasn't actually Carric in the bar and someone else pretending to be him at the Glassblades place?
That's kind of a good point, right? Like, how do you... No, but I'm the real Carric. Like, yeah, sure you are, pal. Like... I guess it depends on what kind of magical means or things they may have at their disposal. I mean, Mellie has the Zone of Truth spell that she hasn't really unleashed yet, which is going to be very interesting, I think, if she does. I'll just leave it at that, but which could help, obviously, clear him. And then, but that's another good point, like, Carric's actions really, as far as what Vael did as him publicly wasn't so bad. It's just that it's like Carric will know really what happened. I mean, Vael made no attempts to hide much of it. It was the tension was you could cut that tension with a knife. It was very easy. But yeah, and Resorted, welcome. I think it says it's the first time that you're chatted here. I don't know if you've been on our Twitch channel before, but welcome. Resorted asks, how about fears of the Empire coming after you all? I don't think the Empire would. I think, well, I guess potentially, but I feel like Uthadern is definitely, we're all persons of interest. Would certainly be a qualifying term. I don't know about you guys.
So something that's interesting is I wonder if the good professor is around at all. And I'm curious to see if like they get word of like, this young girl and this halfling ran into the room. And, like, we don't know if he's maybe there somewhere else. So it is possible that he might connect the dots and then really make the Empire kind of catch a whiff of our scent.
Interesting. We've got a lot of Freeman conspiracy theories in our player chat. How about you, Evan? Any thoughts on the Empire?
I don't know. I kind of have the same thought. I mean, it's going to come back to it, like, there's no way that they stopped looking. It's just not. It's not possible. I am well convinced that there is no possible way that they believe that the thing that they have is what they were looking for. There is not a single
the music box
chance.
wasn't enough.
Yeah, there is not a single chance. I mean, they believed it right away, and they took it and they felt pretty proud of themselves. But then I'm sure as soon as they had somebody with the right knowledge take a look at it and be like, I mean, this is like a cool old piece of, it's a cool old magic item. It's very interesting, but that's probably not what you were gonna find.
But you fool!
It's not exactly,
what were you thinking?
It's not exactly powerful. Like it's cool. Yeah. So I think there could be some bad stuff heading our way once they hear two of the names. That two of the names of two people that they were looking for were given during an investigation of an assassination of a major political figure. So, not like trying to blame anybody or anything like that. Like, I'm not trying to say it's any one specific person's fault, but Lady Melinda, aka Mellie, and Echo, although I don't remember if Echo I don't know if his name ever got out to them. I want to say that Freeman did mention him by name when he was at the door. I don't remember for sure, but well, he could probably put together that Echo is Eckward. It wasn't exactly a good name. So, yeah,
I think that's interesting.
Could be a bad time.
All right, so we've talked about how we feel about this event personally. We also talked about Mellie and Echo if they have any regrets. And Izzee, you brought up a very interesting question when we were discussing some stuff, and you wanted to know if anybody was worried that a group member is going to leave because of this. So Izzee, I'm going to start right with you. Are you or Mellie? I think approaching it from both is interesting. Worried about that?
You know, I asked the question and then I didn't really ponder it that much when I asked it.
That's awesome.
So as a player, I think the two people that I'm worried about leaving would be Mac. Just because I worry that he is going to be like, you know, I'm not a good fit for this party. Like my goals and my reasons don't really align with everybody's. Like, it's been great, but I think we're just not compatible. And the other person is Echo, just because there's been so much turmoil going on, and he does blame himself for something that's not really his fault. And then I don't think Mellie is worried about it, because every time the idea of us all splitting up came up, everyone has kind of just been like, no, I don't really think that's a good idea. And like, I know we've all grown really close, and we still have this very large, dangerous thing that we need to take care of. And I feel like I can't see anyone walking away until that's been complete, at least because I think everyone cares about what happens, you know, just to the world in general.
Okay. I like that answer. Yeah. How about you, Evan? Do you think anything to add, or?
I'll say to some extent I'm worried that their goals and everything won't align anymore. I don't know who. I'm not really sure who would leave. I mean, my thought would have been on Mellie just not being able to, you know, take what's happening anymore, and maybe Echo. But I know for Echo, it's like what you just said, Izzee, that at the end of the day, he feels responsible for this thing that they have, and he does care about, you know, he cares about everybody in the group. It's just, you can care about somebody and really not agree with, like, you still want to make sure that they're okay, even if you're gonna like end things off with them, you know, like if you got to go your separate ways, but like at least make sure that like they're gonna be okay because you still love them.
Yeah.
So it could be, you know, I think it's a bit of duty bound and just having big hearts, you know, really caring about them.
Little people with big hearts.
Yeah. So do I think anyone's gonna leave? I don't know. I think it's possible, and we'll just have to see once we get to talking.
Yeah. I think there's just emotions are crazy high right now with the group. There's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of I could talk about Vael a little bit in that way. Like, there's absolutely no way he would make any decision like that. Echo learns about his master is missing, like, at the bare minimum. There's no way he would ever think about something like that with, you know, a very obvious, clear need to go there. But there's a lot of I'll say there's a lot of drastic in-game actions that Vael has considered and hasn't taken. I'll say that, and that's the only little bait I'll dangle there, because I I always get excited when I have ideas about Vael or the group, but I also don't want to spoil anything either, because it's fun when the bomb just drops. So Resordan asks a good question in chat. It says, if and when the big family meeting happens, will your opinions change regarding leaving? Once I'll say, or if it's revealed that Mac's family really isn't being like held hostage, and that he really kind of did this thing because he wanted to. I definitely think that would be significant. I can say from Vael's point of view. But you know, it would take. I think it would take quite the feat to get that out of his mouth.
That's what I was gonna say. That's assuming that truth comes to light for the group, because it's very possible that is not shared or discovered.
Just file that in Mac's file cabinet of things I'm never telling the group. It does reveal a lot. Zone of Truth does reveal a lot. However, you can't... it's one of those things where, number one, Mellie has to feel a reason to use it. We have to ask the right question. And then can he phrase something in a way that is both true and maybe just redirecting? There's a lot to it. But I think so far the only real potential lead there is just Vael just has a gut feeling that Mac isn't being honest about something, and that's so vague. But that's the only in-game thing. Which, actually, Evan, I'll ask you this: do you think when Vael mentioned that in the bar that had an effect on Echo? He's like, basically some of the effect of I can't put my finger on it, but I just don't think he's being fully honest about this.
I don't know if it really, I don't know if it had an effect on it. Like, I think it did, but he was already just so done with the situation that I don't know that he was really, hearing out what Vael was saying. Like, Vael could have been saying anything as an excuse, like, if you know what I mean. Like, obviously, that's not what he was doing, but that's kind of the way that Echo was taking it. He had a little bit of a buzz going and just wasn't really interested in hearing it out. And really only for that reason. I would say, like, if he was in a different state of mind, or if it was under a different circumstance, like before anybody left, you know, if he kind of took him to the side, he's like, look, I just need you to know the only reason I'm involved in this is because I don't know if this is really what's going on. It might have been a different story. You know, he may have been, I guess, I mean, all that really would have changed is that he would have been more fine with Vael tagging along, but it wouldn't have changed him leaving. Yeah.
Fair enough. How about same question, but for Mellie?
Did you repeat the question?
Just in that moment where I don't remember exactly how it went, but when Vael was in the bar with Echo and Mellie, and it was kind of quick. It was a little bit, but he's just like, I can't put my finger on it, but I'm not sure he's being fully honest with us about this. I don't remember exactly what I said.
Yeah, so I think that did influence Mellie to want to stay slightly more, just because she thought that they would be able to be more of bystanders and kind of pick up some information if possible. Which, obviously that's like her drunken mind thinking like, oh yeah, like maybe we'll get some answers from these people who know nothing about Mac or the situation or anything that's going on. So yeah, I do think it influenced her, but I don't think she was really in her right mind when she was like thinking about it.
And that's very fair. And I think that's a very good follow-up question that Resordan also wrote. and which I think Mellie may have kind of alluded to a little bit, and when she was talking about something to the effect of making things right. Would Mellie and Echo kind of want to steer the party to try and like rescue Mac's family? Which I could say that for Vael, that would be on his list of his to-do list right now. Like, you can't just have somebody show up and just pull this big card, be like, do this thing or I'll kill your family. That's significant.
So in that particular instance, when Mellie was saying that, she was referring to the situation that was happening at Uthadurn for Uthadurn. One of her big concerns is that Vael's family is not going to be okay, but she does have the thought in the front of her mind, like, we need to be protecting everyone's families, so she is worried about Mac's family and probably will be bringing up, like, maybe we can go rescue them or do something to help them, be in a safer area. Definitely a big concern of hers.
Mr. Evan?
I'll say right now, Echo does not have that on his mind at all. Just because of where we left off and what's happening. And it's selfish, but right now he sees that, his family, quote unquote, is at least missing. Like, not necessarily in danger, but he's been gone for 3 weeks. So, kind of a long time, long enough to be worried. And,
yeah,
he's at least closer to where he can get answers for that. So I think right now, as far as he's concerned, well, he did it. He got the job done, so they're fine right now. Right now, like, Master Dino is missing, and we might be able to do something about that. Can we at least do that? So I think he's going to be a little selfish. I don't think right now he will be thinking about that. But that's not to say it wouldn't be a road that he would be interested in going down. I think it just depends on how serious Mac would make it out to be if he does. If that seems more important and more of a timely concern than getting this thing that we're carrying taken care of, then yeah.
I think all of that is completely fair and makes complete sense. So right when we were leaving, Mellie slipped a little something into Carric's pocket, which is really funny. I guess I'm pretty sure you rolled poorly on your sleight of hand check. Because Josh told us we all saw it. Did we confirm on camera what that was? I don't know if we did. I don't think we did. I don't think it's that crazy to guess. Skelly's in all caps. You sure didn't. Izzee, you want to talk about that, or?
Yeah. Well, first let's see. What do you guys think it was?
Yeah, we put some guesses in chat.
Mellie's phone number.
Yeah, she's like,
Oh.
Oh my goodness. As players, I think that's great. I think it was a great very in character moment. We're sorting guesses. The Sending Stone. Michael says some nice plum candy. She's been holding out on us. She still had some.
Just a whole plum that somehow is still fine. There you go.
It's like I kept casting Gentle Repose on this plum, and it seems to have held. Yeah. Well, Izzee, what do you think? You want to confirm or deny some of these guesses?
Yeah. So it was not plum candy, nor was it just a perfectly preserved plum. Congratulations to the person who did guess it correct. It was the Sending Stone.
Yeah.
My characters just cannot hold on to those.
No. Your ones are dragging up the Ice Fire Peak. played through. Oh, that was very. We've had some very fun sending stone moments with Falcon. But yeah, okay. So, we talked about it early in this episode about Mellie's encounter with Raei, the Everlight. I'm just curious about how that experience is affecting Mellie, because she was basically presented with a series of choices and how situations and different choices as to how to handle those situations, and then was given some spells because of what she chose. So, yeah, how's that? Just that whole, what's that whole experience like for Mellie? What is she thinking there?
Well, she definitely has some research that she needs to do. She just has not had, like, I feel like we haven't had a moment of downtime to do, like, I know we had a little bit of, like, time to research right before we went to go kill the dragon, but that was, like, I feel like it was, like, the 30-second montage that you see in movies where it was like, all right.
Yes.
We really only have, like, 3 hours. So she definitely has a lot she wants to research. She needs to find some quiet time to meditate. She'll probably talk to Echo about it just because she's heard him mention, I believe it's Izzee, the all-knowing mistress, so that seems like an appropriate, she's all-knowing, she should know all about Raei.
So you feel like Mellie doesn't know who this person was?
She's definitely heard of her, but her family more so like, you know how it's like on the mantles, like nowadays it says like live, laugh, love. Her family has one for like the
Yes.
wild mother. Instead, it's like grow
Sure.
green great or something.
I love that.
So her exposure I think's been a little bit more limited in that because she grew up on a quiet farm.
Okay.
So.
And Josh kind of just brought up basically he just phrased it a little bit differently than the way I was going to ask it. He says, when is Mellie going to stop everyone from making bad decisions and fully take on the role of party face and leader? And the way I was going to phrase it was, Mellie has a tendency to kind of just kind of be more in the background and kind of steer things a bit, kind of in a similar way, like Evan said about Echo. And was going to ask, do you feel like Raei was trying to like pull something out of her a little bit, or maybe like change that? Like, I think there was something to the effect of like, I'm like Raei said, like there's like a cleansing light, and then just directly, are you that light? Was I believe was a question that was asked of her. I feel like you kind of like froze for a moment when that happened, and I was kind of wondering about that.
So where Mellie is at right now, I don't think she's quite ready to step up and take that role. She's definitely a little bit arrogant when it comes to her party's abilities, and she definitely showed that when she was answering some of the questions. I don't know, we'll have to see what happens, because the other thing is that I feel like Echo and Mellie have a really good balance with kind of being like, no, like, that's really not okay. And because Mellie is younger, like significantly younger than everyone else, I feel like she's like a little bit more naive too. So I don't know if she's really ready to step up and take over that role.
I think the age is a very fair point when it comes to this sort of thing. I mean, Evan, how old is Echo again? He's in his later 20s, but he's still younger.
I think Echo's 28, but mind you, this is also a halfling. Halflings mature a little differently. They take a little bit longer to not be kids anymore.
Yeah.
So I think he's probably in a similar...
like maturity level?
Yeah, probably a similar maturity level to
to
Mellie.
Okay. especially contrasted with the difference in age between Mac and Vael.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mac, I believe, is in his 60s or 70s. Michael is in chat. If he wants to correct me, please do. And Vael is 140. So it's literally 7 times Mellie's age. Although elves tend to, I think, their maturity cycle, they around 100 is when they consider themselves adults, but still, it's a much longer time, and that definitely would affect things, I think. So I know I've been asking a lot of these questions, and Evan or Izzee, if you have anything that's maybe been touched on or you'd like clarification on, now is the time. And if not, we can stare at the camera.
Well, the question that I wanted to ask you pretty much already got asked, which was like, we kind of just went through like, how is everybody feeling? Although I don't remember if you actually answered that question as far as, how are you and Vael feeling about like what just happened? Like just overall. I mean, you
Sure.
kind of went into like more specific stuff, but I'm just curious where Vael's headspace is. Yeah, maybe that's a better way. Maybe that's a better question. That is a
Sure.
much better question, I think, than what I first said. So what is Vael seeing as a priority right now? If that's something that you want to like
Sure.
where is it that he's focused on? Is he thinking about what just happened? And like, how do I deal with this? Is he thinking about like, where are we right now? Is he thinking about what happened to Master Dinoa? Is he thinking about like, well, we just got to find some place to put this thing?
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like what he's considering his main focus right now.
This is a great question. Vael's head is racing. He, in case it hasn't come clear, like he's just trying to fix everything all the time. Like, I think Josh just literally said Vael is trying to think of everything and make it all work out perfect. Yes, that is Vael. Vael is, I can fix it. It's just such a very typical male perspective in that way. I think the weight of everything has hit him, but I think emotionally it's not processed yet. Like it's just this big elephant sitting on him, and he's like, I can't breathe. Like that's his thing. So like, as far as like, does he have like a goal for right now? No. Like, I've been thinking like, what would his reaction be to hearing about Master Dinoa being missing for 3 weeks? And I just felt like, I personally don't know if I've ever had like a true full-on panic attack, but I feel like that would just kind of, something like that kind of a reaction would be where he is he's just like, I couldn't fix this, I couldn't fix this. Even if I predict everything to go exactly the way I think it is, it goes wrong. Like his head is just spinning. Like if I try and do too much, it doesn't work. If I try and pull back, it doesn't work. If I like, he has no balance. He has no center of gravity. He has no grounding now.
That's a really interesting perspective, a very interesting insight into Vael's character and how he processes, I would call this trauma. I think that's an interesting
Yes.
I think I would call this trauma.
Yes.
I think it's interesting that he's not, I don't know if living in denial is even the right way to put it, but like postponing it, like trying to postpone everything by being like, all right, no, I can fix this. Like we can fix it all, instead of just like accepting that like this is a thing that happened, and trying to then like move on and see what we can do to make things, better. He's holding on to the, like, I can fix it. Like I can fix all of it. I can fix it all. And that is a ticking time bomb.
100%. His whole life he's ran away.
Yeah.
His whole life he's just either this doesn't work or I can fix it. Like that's just, he was with the glass blades, crap at the fan. He's gone. Just got to find his own way. He's got to find his own path. And working with this group has, in a lot of ways, to what you shared with Echo, he has found like, oh, I think there is kind of like a little family unit that I feel like I kind of fit with. But no, like really letting it just like sit there and like process. No, if I think for him right now, he's thinking like, if I process that I, from a certain point of view, just kind of conspired to commit treason and help a cold-blooded killer's family not get hurt, like, like I don't think that's gonna go well if he lets that floodgate open. So, yeah, it's yeah, that's just where he's at. So there's an element of denial there, but I have it's a bachelor's degree, it's not a master's degree, but I do have a degree in psychology, and denial is very much a coping mechanism for a reason. And that is definitely how he's dealing with that.
I have a question for both of you.
Okay.
So, throughout everything that's been happening at Uthadurn, and I don't think that they have forgotten, but have your characters been thinking, you know, what happens if we do have issues with authority and it is figured out that we have this weapon? What are we gonna do? So that's definitely been something that Mellie has been like, oh, like, we need to be extra careful and tread very lightly. Because, you know, we're having face-to-face with the Queen, and now we're kind of stirring up trouble. And if we get found out somehow, and they confiscate all our stuff, it's going to be a big problem.
Yeah, I mean, Vael was not concerned about it in Uthadurn, and like he never wanted it to fall. Doesn't want it to fall into a government's hands, but if it were to fall into any government's hands, he would feel good about Uthadurn's over, say, like the Empire. But yeah, there's a lot of things smacking Vael in the face right now. So
Yeah, who knows? It could have been pretty bad.
yeah.
I'll say that Echo saw that as the end. Like, there's nothing, you know, if that happens, that's it. Like, that's where this ends for us. He doesn't necessarily think that we were, you know, gonna get killed, you know, or anything like that. Because really, all they did was, from a legal point of view, go into ruins and, you know, take a thing that was there. Like, it's probably fine, because most people die when they go to do that anyway. And I would feel like, jurisdiction-wise, it doesn't really sit... Like, I'm curious where Melasmir sits in that perspective. Like, who would be the one to punish somebody for that? And I kind of feel like everyone would just sort of like, eh. Like, if you got in and out with something, sure. Like, you could do what you want with it. Because there's, like, the little Electrum coins that are, like, they're around, you know?
Yeah.
People have definitely done it. I liked that little piece since the first coins we found. Because then it was the idea that, like, yeah, this is, like, dangerous, but it's doable because people have done it.
Yes.
So I thought that was kind of cool. But, yeah, I think Echo's perspective on if we got caught and had the thing is just, at that point, he would just have to trust that Vael was right about that. Because I think he voiced that opinion a couple of times that... Like, look, we don't want this to go to anybody, but if for some reason Uthadurn got it, could be worse. And, like, we could at least talk to them. Like, they're reasonable people.
Yeah.
So I think it would just be a matter of trust at that point. But Echo did see that as, like, the one thing we don't want to happen.
Sure, absolutely. And then Josh, which I was going to mention, but already answered it in chat, that Melasmir isn't owned by any government, so it is north of the Empire border. I forget the name of the mountain range, but it's in the Savalier Wood, just north of Shady Creek Run. And I feel like Uthadurn is really kind of its own area in the mountains there, but it just has a region of influence more than like owned territory. Dunrock. I think, yeah, Josh, that sounds right. Dunrock Mountains. Yeah, I mean, it really was like in a way, kind of like a Chernobyl, in a kind of a situation where there was just this fallout from whatever happened. So it's it's dangerous, like you said. Oh, yeah. It's very interesting stuff. Is there anything else that you either of you would want to say, or any other questions in chat that would make sense? I've enjoyed this very much so. Trying to just take a look at my notes over here. Skelly. Oh, actually, I have a little one that we could kind of follow up on. Talking about this family meeting. Any predictions? Do we want to make any predictions about Josh? Of course, I see the message. If at any point in time you want to hop into and say something, go for it. Is there any predictions about the tone that the family meeting might take? Like, would it be maybe like difficult, but come out like, hey, we're closer for it? Like, will it be angry? Will it be, I don't know.
So,
I'm curious.
I guess the tone, I cannot even try to predict what the tone will be like at the end, just because it's very dependent on what questions get asked, what answers are given, what truths are revealed or not revealed. The tone going in, I think, also is dependent on who is the one who initiates it. If Mellie's the one to initiate it, it's definitely going to be a little bit more solemn, and definitely from a place of like genuine, like, we need to fix what's going on between us, so that way we can be a better unit in every aspect.
Josh asked an interesting question in chat. Do you intend on using Zone of Truth?
Yes.
Haha, that should be very interesting. And she hasn't told anybody she could do that yet. Which I don't think she has anyways.
No, so, I don't know. There's some things that I want to leave for the family meeting whenever it happens.
I didn't expect you to answer that. Dang, okay. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see how things unfold. I mean, maybe it'll be too weird to use it, but like, as a player, I feel like that's a no-brainer. Like, yeah, obviously do that. Then no one can lie. They can only choose to not say something, and then it's like, well, obviously you're being sketchy because you're not answering the question.
Yeah.
Yep, and then you jettison them into outer space.
Goodbye. Oh boy. How about you, Evan? Any predictions on how that will go down?
I think Echo's idea of, the intended tone would be kind of similar, just like no more crap. Can we just be straight about all of this and like make sure all of our cards are on the table now, because this is what just happened is super not okay. At least that would be, Echo's intent. The prediction, I don't want to make a prediction.
No,
because I think it'll be more interesting to see what happens. Because I think we do our best. Like, we prepare for a lot of things, but I know the most that I'll do to prepare for like an upcoming conversation is I'll review some of like the information that I have. I'll look back over my notes and like confirm I've got facts straight. But I don't want to I don't like trying to predict what someone else is going to say, because I know we have absolutely like blindsided each other with some of the conversations that we've had over the course of this campaign, and it's been amazing.
fair.
And like the conversations that have come out of it have been so awesome. It's like, I don't know. I mean, there's a bunch of them, but like, and I know this wasn't any of you guys, but this was Josh. Echo's conversation with Carric in the cave. A lot of those questions and answers I didn't think were going to happen that night, and certainly not from Carric. And Echo was getting, you know, so frustrated with things that he was being a little more honest and open than he would have been otherwise. Like letting a little more information than he probably should have get to Carric's hands, because he needed another perspective from someone that he wasn't so close with. So all of that to say, I'm just excited to see how that conversation goes whenever it happens, especially if Zone of Truth pops up. That completely changes things, because I guess I can say this, because if she does do that and she says that she's going to, Echo would choose to fail. Like he would just let it happen, and that could lead to some interesting, you know, if he gets asked any questions, it could lead to some interesting answers.
Because you can choose to submit to that and just be like, yep. And I don't see why Vael would not do the same. Which I think Michael's like, okay, what do I do with this? I've gotta figure this out. Oh boy. And Josh says in chat, you all and your role playing are the heroes of this campaign. Y'all are truly incredible. And then another all caps, breathtaking. I think we're all blessed to have a really good group. And I think you know, even just what was referenced was Michael's like, I rolled a 24. I think even just the one that was referenced, Evans, was talking about a conversation between Echo and Carric. You know, I feel like everybody's got a pretty good feel for their characters and what they would know and respond to things and what would be important to them. And I think that's just really cool. It's been a really fun experience with everybody. But I think unless there's anything else that we want to say, I think that might be it for tonight. Of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe. If you've stuck around this long, awesome. Thank you so much. You should hang out with us and watch our games, catch up if you're not up to date with our Ancient Relics and Hokey Religions. So yes, thank you so much for watching. The interesting note, I don't know, actually, talking about Zone of Truth, maybe we'll leave that little detail just so off the table. Never mind. Thank you so much for watching. There should be some things on screen that you can click on. Do that and check the link tree in the description, all that stuff. Have fun. And as always, we love you, and here are some parting musical tones from our friend Joshua Tabletop.
Listen, got something to say, gonna talk about some tabletop things, get some stuff off my mind. Just bear with me, alright? J&J, there's something I gotta say. You could watch him every week, new videos Wednesday, talking tabletop, community pop. All the GMs send us DMs so that we could talk shop. Got the how-tos, the playthroughs, everything on YouTube. You know I got a view, and they even got a Twitch too. So you could like, comment, subscribe to the channel, watch the group discussions and listen to the panel. Got the class intros in Dungeons and Dragons, fight night winners claim the rights and start the bragging. I spy a peak Thursday night of every week, so pick your spells, pick your feats, favorite backgrounds, athlete. That's a joke, you gotta watch the videos. Doobly-doo, links to coffee for you. It's true that we do all the things that we do, and the J is for Josh, but the J is for Jake. For goodness sake, play that Dungeons and Drake. Oh man. I just hope that you guys know that this isn't serious. This is me just having some fun, and maybe we'll use it in a video, maybe we won't. But links in the doobly-doo. Follow us, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want us to do more silly things like this, then you just let me know in the comments. So everybody have a great night. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on all those links in the doobly-doo, and stay safe. Have fun in your games.